Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rants alongside Tommy Christ and TK joining us today, as you see right there, from Tremonti's Meat and Seafood in Baton Rouge. He will be there, of course, today, and then he'll be back on Friday. Sports Shorts Daily today. We're going to talk a little college baseball. There's a big story brewing in the world of golf. I mean, this is a game changer in the world of golf that we're dealing with right now. It's big national, international stories galore there, of course. And we'll talk a little Baton Rouge Rougarou, as well as the Baton Rouge Rougarou. We had our home opener last night. Thanks to all the great sponsors, supporters, folks that came out, families that came out to the ball game last night. It's great to see a lot of people I hadn't seen in many years. A lot of good positive feedback. And the most important, Tommy, I had two compliments about the games last night that an old Skip Bertman player would really appreciate. One, Gordy Rush talked about how clean everything was at as far as the facility, how clean it was. And number two, I saw Scotty Drake there at the ball game, the old great DJ on Eagle 8.1 for many decades. He's retired now. He was there with his wife, and Scotty said, the food at the concession stand was very good. He said the jumbo hot dog was great. And when I saw him, he was like, it's about time for me to go get something else. I'm probably going to get the Chris's Specialty Meats hamburger. And so I got to find out how the hamburger was. I'm sure it was great. But he was like, man, this hot dog is fantastic. And that's what I'm going for. Obviously, the baseball will take care of itself. We lost the nail biter in extra innings. But the food being good, the bathrooms being clean, all that's important.
Well, it was, and I saw a lot of people I know, a lot of the people that bought some of our sponsorship packages were out there in the park. So I saw some people, and I was milling around. Of course, I had to get up to the press box and get busy, 6:15 or so, but saw some people, and that was good. And hey, like I said on the broadcast last night, there's 4 more home games this week: tonight, tomorrow night, Saturday, and Sunday. All 7 o'clock starts, and you need to get out to Pete Goldsby Field. The field's in outstanding shape, and all the other stuff which you work so hard on, from the bounce houses to the daiquiris and all that in between. It was really good. It was really cool, and people need to get out there.
What's going on? Good morning, everybody. Please like and share. Please like and share. Sharon is Karen. Sharon is your ticket to the show. So please like and share this video. Craig, appreciate you coming on board this morning. All right, TK. The Rougarou, of course, you were on the game with Charles Hannegger. For those that if you can't make it out for whatever reason, you can go to the Baton Rouge White. Go to Baton Rouge White Sox. Boy, is that old school right there. For 17 years, it's hard to get that out of your head. Go to brrougarou.com, brrougarou.com, and you can watch the games online. Okay, just click on the schedule. You see the little online TV icon that takes you right to the page, and you can watch the games there. And we had you and Charles Hannegriff on the broadcast.
Tonight,
it looked great. Last night, it's going to be every single game is going to be streamed live online. So if you can't make it out, watch it on TV. Get a chance to see some of these great players in person. It looked really good last night. A lot of college play. Last night we had a Catholic High at Baton Rouge Battery. One goes to UL, one goes to Tulane. You had a UL signee come in as well. And who knows? Now that LSU season's over with, we're going to talk with some of the players and see if I can get some of them with us now. Talking about LSU for a minute here, Tommy. It's just the storylines are interesting. How you've got you got Mike Bianco, who's in a super regional. He was a finalist for the LSU job. Quite frankly, I thought he might get it, but once he lost in that super regional to Jay Johnson, and you're just looking at Mike Bianco's resume, and it's only one trip to Omaha, and you just start to wonder why. If you dig in on Mike Bianco, he does everything right. He does it the Skip Bertman system. He's what he's done up there at Ole Miss. If you've been to a game in Oxford, is incredible. But the one trip to Omaha is the red flag in the 22 years. So he didn't get the job. But yet this year he was backs against the wall a month to go in the season. I'm talking to coaches in the SEC who think he's going to get fired. Instead, he turns it around, sweeps LSU in a super regional. Texas A&M, new coach, Schlossnagle called early on. He was interested in the LSU job. They hired him at A&M. LSU wasn't ready to pull the trigger. He took a bird in the hand. He's in a super regional and won the West. And then Cliff Godwin, who would have, cut off his left arm to be the coach at LSU, who coached here with Maneri his first 2 years. Number 8 national seed in a super regional at East Carolina. Hopefully, fingers crossed for him, he makes it to Omaha for the first time in program history. It's just kind of ironic how all these other people got the jobs done at their respective schools. Now, that said, I do think LSU's in great hands, but it's just kind of an interesting storyline.
It really is. And, 5 of the 16 remaining teams are from the Southeastern Conference, and 3 of those are from the West Division, where LSU is. So Jay Johnson's going to address the roster. There's been some articles written about it, and he's going to make decisions that he has to make. Some of them are not going to be fun decisions as far as who might come back, who might not come back, and all of that. We'll just have to let that play out. One little footnote. Tulane hired a coach, Jay Ullman. Now, here's the strange thing, Ronnie. He was on the staff with Travis Jewett. Right. Travis Jewett was fired after 6 years. He was named interim coach. Now they pulled the interim tag off. So that's a little bit strange to me. You were on the staff that didn't go to the postseason for 6 straight years. But obviously the athletic director, Dannon, feels that that's the way to go. So anyway, but back to Bianco's story, the Schlossnagle story, the Godwin. Man, you're right, and that's going to be fun this weekend. The super regionals, of course, we'll be kind of busy with the Rougarou Saturday and Sunday, but going to do some scoreboard watching, as they say.
Yeah, no question about it. The league as a whole, Tommy, the league as a whole in the SEC had a good run, and Southern Miss is a program that is only, how far is Hattiesburg? 2.5 hours?
3 hours from Baton Rouge, okay. Give or take a few minutes.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Southern Miss is that's a program that I can remember. I went on a visit there in the late 80s. 1989, in fact. I'm sorry. Yeah, the spring of 1990, Tommy. I went on a visit there. They were playing Florida State in the old Metro Conference. They actually took 2 out of 3 from Florida State, and that was when they were Florida State. I mean, they were in their heyday. I think they had Eduardo Perez Jr. playing first, and Pete Grifol was an All-American catcher. I mean, they had dudes, man, that played in the big leagues. And Southern Miss won 2 out of 3, and their stadium was in construction. They were doing some revamping, and there was a lot of construction. It wasn't very pretty, but they had their dream of what they were going to become. And even though that was 30 plus years ago, they've accomplished that to where now they've been to Omaha already. They are relevant every single year. I would put them as a top 30 program year in and year out. Is that fair?
I agree with that. And they love their baseball in Hattiesburg. We've seen the crowds that showed up at a regional. It's a beautiful park. It's artificial surface, so rain's not really going to get you. And everybody talks Ole Miss and Mississippi State, but you're right. Southern Miss, has done a great job recruiting that I-10 corridor, and a lot of kids from New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and elsewhere. And they got a solid program. Coach Berry's done a good job after Corky Palmer did a great job for so many years. No, that's a big time program. No question about it. And the fact that they won this regional, beat LSU, we all know that brand, and now they're going to host a super regional against Ole Miss, that's only going to help the Golden Eagle program build even more.
Yeah, I mean, the Sun Belt Conference got 4 teams into the dance. I mean, that is a big time deal. Texas State got in, the Raging Cajuns got in. With the Sun Belt, chance Babbitt put up the Sun Belt will be even stronger now as well because Southern Miss is going to the Sun Belt Conference. But you've got Texas State, UL, Georgia Southern, and I'm leaving out somebody. They had 3 or 4 teams. There's a 4th team in there. Somebody can just pop it up there on the screen. But and now you get Southern Miss in there. I mean, look at that rivalry with South Alabama, Southern
Coastal Carolina,
UL Lafayette, Coastal Carolina, Texas State. I mean, like that conference is no joke. And I think that now that, by the way, Southern Miss has been to Omaha the same amount of times as Ole Miss. Okay,
there you go.
And Southern Miss swept Mississippi State. Remember when Andy Cannizaro got fired a week into the season? Now his firing had nothing to do with performance on the field; it had to do with off the field. But they got swept in Hattiesburg. He got fired a couple days later. That was the first game of the season. That was 3 years ago or something like that. So Southern Miss is a quiet, much like the Raging Cajuns, and be obviously a bump up from the Raging Cajuns. But we talk so much about LSU here, we don't realize an hour away there's this big time program that puts 4,000 to 5,000 a game for college baseball. The same can be said about Southern Miss. It gets lost in the shuffle between Ole Miss and Mississippi State in that state, but they are big time. Neither one of them want to play them. You throw their best on a weekend against Southern Miss best, it's a coin flip game. So looking forward to that series, Ole Miss and Mississippi State and Hattiesburg. That is going to be as big of a ticket as it was for LSU to be in. It's going to be
bigger.
A bigger ticket now because you're punching your ticket to Omaha and you're facing Ole Miss. I mean, wow, that's going to be a lot of fun.
And the Rebel fans will come down from Oxford, no question about it. There'll be a lot of red and blue and a lot of black and gold at the ballpark.
Fun weekend, man, for college baseball. Looking forward to that series the most, clearly. I'm curious what the fallout's going to be with Jay Johnson and this LSU team. They have 40 players on their roster. You only have 27, I believe, 27 or 28. I think it was 27 for the postseason roster.
27.
For the regionals and beyond. So that means 13 people got their feelings hurt that they weren't on the postseason roster. You then have players that are going to get drafted, sign, leave, whatever. I think the over-under number is probably 18 and a half. Over-under players on this roster on next year's roster. I think it's definitely under 20, and I think it's probably under 18 and a half personally.
I agree with you. And I wouldn't be surprised to see that move even more. We don't know the inner workings, and we don't know exactly what Jay Johnson has decided or will decide. And you may have some guys go into the portal, then return to LSU. So there's a lot of things. And I think when I don't know if he's going to have a season-ending press conference, when he has a little thing before the fall, you're going to have to hand out rosters for all the media to know who's going to be out there and who's not, this, that, and the other. And there'll be some guys there in the fall that won't be there in the spring. That's typical. So going to be some, but here's a team that won 40 games, won a couple of games out of regional. So, like Jay Johnson said, he thinks he's going to win a national championship. He feels good about what this team accomplished, and he's ready to keep building and keep working. And one thing we know, Jay Johnson's going to work very hard at it, all aspects of the off the field stuff, and we'll see how it goes.
It's going to be interesting meetings today, the next couple of days. Thanks, Adam, for the nice words. He was at the ball game last night. By the way, baseball game tonight. I mean, no sleep for the weary, right? Baton Rouge Rougarou back in action tonight, 7:00, and Thursday, 7:00 against the Acadiana Cane Cutters. The Relief Windows I-10 Battle of the Basin. Look for the billboards, the Lamar billboards up around town. We got 4 of them around town rotating. The Relief Windows Battle of the Basin for the I-10 versus our rival, the Acadiana Cane Cutters, 7:00 today and tonight and Thursday. So come check us out. Bring the family. By the way, check out. People were like, "What is it?" And then when they realized what it was, their minds were blown. Did you ever get down there, Tommy, to stick your head in the giant refrigerator box?
I did not. I saw it, and somebody said it's 17 degrees in there or something. Did I hear that correctly?
Right behind the first dugout, right behind the first base dugout, is this giant, basically refrigerator box with bench seating. It's got windows. You can sit in there. You can even watch the game while you're in there. LSU has one. The Saints have one. The Vegas Raiders have one. Nick Saban and the Alabama. There's only 10 in the world, and the Rougarou games, they have them at the Rougarou games. You go in this thing, hey, it gets a little warm, gets a little hot, particularly till the sun really starts to set about 8:15. Depending on where you're at in the stadium. There's a lot of shade at that stadium, but depending on where you're at, if you want to go in there, you get a blast of cool air. And man, you go sit in there and for a couple minutes and it just kind of rejuvenates you. People were loving it.
Look at that message.
You don't have that at every ballpark. Adam Pookie was all over that. Never got in there, but I'll try it on Thursday. I'm telling the visiting team, their mind was blown after batting practice, Tommy. The whole team was
in there
for the Generals, the Victoria Generals last night. They were all in there, just loving it, and so it might be a recruiting ploy for us. Maybe we can say, hey, come pitch for us or play for us. You can go and cool off whenever you want.
Well, again, all the accessories, I guess that's the word, all the side stuff of families to kids and adults and the little fun races with the big mascot Roo. He was all over the park. I mean, people need to get out there. We got 23 more home games, so pick a night, pick a couple of nights, and we want to see you at Pete Osby Field.
All right, so some interesting conversations being had by LSU Baseball and Jay Johnson over the next couple of days. People are going to be considering the transfer portal. Maybe they're being told, we don't have room for you. So that is going to be some difficult conversations. Please like and share this video, by the way. All right, the world of golf is turning on its head. You and I, you were a big golfer back in the day. I had my streaks of being really into it, particularly during COVID. Haven't had the chance these days to play golf. Hopefully I'll start catching up to some maybe in the fall. But talk to me about what's going on in the world of golf, because people that even aren't golf fans should know this story, because this is an earthquake happening in professional golf.
That's a good word for it. An earthquake has hit the PGA Tour, and it's called LIV, L-I-V, as in victory. It's financially backed by Saudi Arabia, and there's a lot of domestic issues between the United States and Saudi Arabia. They killed the reporter and beheaded him and all that stuff. And there's been a lot of controversy, and the PGA Tour came out about a month ago and said, hey, anybody who plays in that event, there'll be consequences. And I never said what the consequences would be. And they haven't done anything yet as of this morning. Dustin Johnson, who at one time was the number one player in the world, has resigned from the PGA Tour. Wow. And he's going over to LIV. Phil Mickelson, it's all come out now. They estimate, Ronnie, that since 2017, he's lost $40 million gambling. Now, he said his family's financially secure and he's dealing with it, and he's got it all fixed, 100 hours of therapy on the gambling thing. Well, he's playing in the tour, and some people saying because he needs the money, because the purses in this tour are going to be 10 times bigger than the purses on the PGA Tour. So now you have the PGA Tour who's looking the other way and hoping this goes away. But once this other event starts tomorrow over right outside of London, England, the PGA Tour is going to have to make a statement. Now, the next tournament back here is the United States Open. That's run by the USGA, not the PGA. But we'll see. I mean, Ian Poulter, Patrick Reed, who spent a year at University High in Baton Rouge, Kevin Na. I mean, there's some big-time names that are playing in this other event. The only one that I really saw, Justin Johnson, is the only one who really resigned, literally like turned the paperwork in that he's no longer a member of the PGA Tour. But we'll see what happens on all of that. So it's an earthquake for the PGA Tour. Every national outlet is talking about it. It's all over the internet. If you're into the golf thing, you need to check it out. Tiger Woods not going to play in the U.S. Open. He needs to rest his body, according to his statement. I'm paraphrasing there. So you golf fans, and Ronnie and I are certainly on that list. Lots more to come.
So the ones that people care about are the majors, right? The U.S. Open, the British Open. I refuse to call it the Open. It's the British Open, the U.S. Open, obviously the PGA and the Masters. Those are and then here locally, the Zurich. The Zurich is a PGA Tour event that's big time affected. The Masters is not. That's independent. You said that the British Open is not. That's not a PGA event.
That's run by the RNA, the Royal and Ancient.
And the U.S. Open is not a PGA event, correct?
USGA,
so
United States Golf.
So three of the four majors, you can still have all those live golfers in those tournaments.
That's correct, because they're not PGA events. But the Zurich Classic down in New Orleans, and all the other 30-something events on the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
PGA Tour is going to have to make a comment or a statement before the next PGA Tour event, a couple weeks down the road, because they said there'd be consequences. They didn't say what. Like then Phil Mickelson got asked yesterday if he was suing the PGA Tour, because he made some pretty harsh comments about them. And his answer was, I'm going to paraphrase here, but I'm going to be pretty close. At this time, I'm not going to make any comment about the PGA Tour. That was his answer, which, I credit somebody for asking him the question. It's a good question. Yeah. And he gave the answer one would expect. But no, you hit the nail on the head with the word earthquake. An earthquake has hit the PGA Tour. We have to assess the damage, but we're not going to know that right away.
Listen, the names that you mentioned are veteran names, right? These are some of the bigger brands. And we talk about a Patrick Reed or Dustin Johnson or Kevin Na. These are all guys that have been on the tour a long time. They're older players for the tour. okay, they have made their money, right? They've made their reputation. They've got their corporate sponsors and all that. So for them, playing golf is a business, right? Playing golf is a way that they earn money. Yeah, they love it, but they're probably not a 20-year-old kid that's, hungry and wants to play every second of every day. And they want to, they're grinding to make the tour, to get their car, to stick around. So they now are in it for the money and the business side of it. All right. And so for them, if they can play less and make more money than they were paying for the PGA Tour, it's a no-brainer. This reminds me of the little run that the USFL had against the NFL, right? In the mid-'80s, where they popped up and they stole Herschel. They got Herschel Walker and a couple other players, the Jim Kelly. They got guys to go to the USFL instead of the NFL back then. They didn't get all of them, but they got some big names, and they stole a few here and there, and it was a big deal. They got Steve Young was in the USFL,
Reggie White.
Yeah. So I think that this reminds me of that. Now, the USFL's fatal flaw, and we've all watched the documentary, the 30 for 30 documentary, was that, Donald Trump messed up, and he was really pushing for them to go head up against the NFL during the fall. He thought there was space there and he could leverage, because they were trying to get bought like the AFL was in the 60s. They were trying to get bought by the NFL, and they messed up. Had they stayed in their slot, I think they could have all done well and made money and been an alternate, but they tried to leverage it, and they lost. To me, that's what's happening here in LIV. The problem is, for the PGA Tour, is there's no lack of resources on the LIV side, on the Saudi Arabia side. They got all the money in the world, so you're not going to drown them out. You're not going to squeeze them out. In fact, they're going to just continue to take players away from the PGA Tour. And trust me, those 36 tour members, the Zurich right now is in panic mode. Everybody who has a PGA Tour event is in panic mode as they see those names going away, to where now you're going to have a bunch of Tommy Chrysan and Ronnie Rances playing golf, and nobody wants to see that.
Well, there's a guy playing in the LIV event, Taylor Gooch, Gooch. He's been around. He's never done anything spectacular. He was asked about the political end of this thing, and he goes, "Hey, I'm not that smart. I'm trying to hit a little white ball into the hole. I'll just play golf." So, I mean, they all got their answers prepared. But, it's going to be very interesting couple weeks going forward. And Ronnie, there was a talk, now they offered Jack Nicklaus $100 million. He turned it down. You ready for this? There's a report, not confirmed. I'm going to repeat, not confirmed. They offered Tiger Woods $1 billion with a B to become a part of this tour. And, I'm sure they had a lot of things he had to do for that. But, so the money's not the issue. And if they have deeper pockets than the PGA Tour, and Ronnie, I agree with you. If I can play 12 events instead of 18 or 19 and make 3 times the money, it's a business decision. But you got the politics involved. I'm not smart enough to, I follow the politics from a distance, and I really don't speak publicly about what I think. And a couple of friends and I'll have a conversation every now and then. But, obviously this is causing lots of reaction, positive and negative, in the golf world.
Chance Babin, other than Dustin Johnson and an aging Phil, who is significant in the LIV? Well, you mentioned Patrick Reed. I mean, that's
Patrick Reed, Kevin Knott, Ian Poulter, Graham McDowell, and we'll see the full list later today in this event. So no, it's not shattered the tour yet. It may one day. But Dustin Johnson is the biggest name because he was the number one golfer. He's won majors. He was ranked number 1 in the world, and he did the paperwork and resigned from the PGA Tour. So he would have to do a Monday qualifier to get into a PGA Tour event. Although I'm sure he's got some exemptions built up.
All right, Tommy, when we're going to be back? Let's say Friday morning we'll be back.
Friday morning I'll be back over here at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. Today the lunch special is lasagna. All your catering needs, connect on Facebook and Instagram. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. The wine, the whiskey, the liquor selection is through the roof. All the 20 different flavors of sausage here at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. So we want you to check that out. And we want to see you at the ballpark tonight, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, 7 o'clock first pitch. The Rougarou, Acadiana Cane Cutters in town for tonight and tomorrow. Saturday, the Seguin River Monsters will be in town. Catch the stream if you can't get to the park. but we want you to get to the park. You'll have fun. Bring the family, bring the girlfriends, the boyfriends, the grandparents. Bring them all out to Pete Goldsby Field. It's in outstanding shape, and looking forward to tonight calling that game with Charles Hannegriff.
All right, for Tommy, I'm Ronnie. Have a great one, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you Friday with more Sports Shorts Daily presented by LeBear's Casino.